And that's when y'all going to get to the point where that's natural.
Yeah.
Right now, everything is forced and unnatural. And
everybody feel like they're trying to go get it.
Yeah. And the only two I want to try to go get it are you and Joel.
Yeah.
The other ones we will figure out. All right.
Don't get it off us.
Last season, Harden finished the postseason with what was a poorly graded performance by his own standards. After this, Harden would head into this offseason with all eyes on him. Though Harden missed last season's opt-in deadline for his contract, there was never a doubt that he would remain in Philly. But even with that in mind, what he did surprised me. Harden would make his own splash this offseason when he decided to take a $15 million pay cut. To quote Harden, "I told Daryl to improve the roster, sign who we needed to sign, and give me whatever is left over. This is how bad I want to win. I want to compete for a championship. That's all that matters to me at this stage. I'm willing to take less to put us in position to accomplish that." Harden taking this pay cut would give the 76ers the ability to add role players like PJ Tucker and Daniel House to the roster. Harden is 33 years old. He's played over 32,376 minutes in his career. While it was surprising to me that he did take a pay cut, it's not surprising to me that he's somebody that would welcome more help. Harden wants to win, and he wants to win bad. The question right now is that going to happen in Philly? As of late, it truly does feel as if Harden has been exhausting all options in search of a championship, including getting into fantastic shape. Harden would get so lean that people started to give him the nickname Skinny Harden. When Harden would be asked about his terrific shape, he would say that "I've always said that if my conditioning can be level with my skill set, my IQ, and the work I put in, it's MVP." He would also go on to say that a hamstring is nothing to play with. The last 2 summers with the pandemic, it was all recovery, all rehabbing and doing those other things. Now, I finally got a full summer where I can actually play pickup. Working out individually and actually playing pickup and playing basketball are 2 totally different things. To this day, I feel like there are people who sleep on how much Harden's hamstring injury directly and indirectly affected his play. In the first 2 games of the season for the 76ers, we would get to see glimpses of this new and improved Harden that everybody's been talking about. In Harden's first 2 games this season, he was extraordinary, showing us shades of the Harden that we grew to love in Houston. We saw the step-back threes, the 4-point plays, the burst, the handles, and even a willingness to score from the mid-range in the form of jump shots. Against the Celtics, we would also see the free throws, but that's not really here nor there. What do you guys want from me? Do you guys want me to be mad that James Harden is good at getting to the line? I'm not going to get mad at that. What I am going to get mad at is the fact that the refs don't let the game be more physical. International basketball has a completely different vibe, and I would love some of that vibe to be applied to the NBA. But hey, at least Adam Silver's trying to make the game better. With that being said, I don't know about that whole relegation stuff. Could you imagine an NBA team getting sent down to the G League because they did not win enough games? Yeah, that would be brutal, guys. I like the idea in theory, though, and it does work for other leagues. To get back to talking about Harden, in his first game, he would drop 35, 8, and 7. In his second game, he would drop 31, 8, and 9. But here's the catch. During this time frame, the 76ers would go 0 and 2, in large part due to bad coaching, a stagnant offense, and a Joel Embiid that looked as if he had a low battery, which there was a pretty good reason for this. Joel Embiid was dealing with a plantar fasciitis issue this summer. Joel said that he initially thought the issue was just soreness, and then it just kept getting worse and worse, and then it got to the point where he couldn't even walk. He says that he's fine now and not in pain, but notes that it impacted his training and conditioning during this offseason. Embiid's a very big guy. His conditioning is a pretty big deal. It's great to hear that things are on the right track for him. 2 bad games never meant that he was going to have a bad season. In the NBA, it's important to remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. As I said in my most recent Westbrook video, a slow start is no reason to lose faith in the season. The season is long, and the regular season for contenders is a time to figure out what works. Besides, the Bucks and Celtics are really good. Losing to these guys is no big deal. What is a big deal is the process. With that in mind, the 76ers will go on to lose again on Saturday night, this time dropping to the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the San Antonio Spurs, that's a bad L, and that's no disrespect to San Antonio, because I'm sure even their fans will tell you that, yeah, you probably should have beat us. Now don't get it confused, an L like this isn't the end of the world or anything like that, but it's one that's bad enough to make you feel like the sky is actually falling. That feeling is likely compounded by the fact that you played a franchise that does not want to win and traded away their best player for picks this offseason. That's not to say that the Spurs don't have talent. Primo's got upside, Keldon and Vassell have been great, and Pirtle continues to be slept on. The list goes on, and I mean, if you ask a player on the Spurs, they'll let you know that they don't want to hear anything about a tank.
Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro.
They've been tripping on y'all.
Y'all gonna get off my page with that too.
Tripping on y'all about that.
We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Now, while I am approaching this situation with the glass half full, let's put the shoe on the other foot. Joel Embiid had 40 points and 13 boards this game, and yet the 76ers still found a way to lose. I know James Harden was 4 of 18 from the field, but regardless, I still feel like you have to find a way to win this game. You want to be able to win games against teams when your stars have bad games. You shouldn't have to feel like everybody has to play well for you to beat the San Antonio Spurs when you're supposed to be a contender. Guys, according to ESPN stats and info, the Spurs were 13.5 point underdogs. Them beating the 76ers would mark their largest upset since March 8th, 1997 against the Indiana Pacers. Now look, I know we're only a few games into the regular season, as I've said before, but there are some things that I just can't ignore, like the your turn, my turn offense that the 76ers have been running. The 76ers' unimaginative offense makes this roster feel like the typical top-heavy Morey roster, which is unfortunate, because while this roster could use some improvement, the coaches just haven't done the best job getting the most out of their talent. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score from the 76ers and Spurs game and see if there's anything that stands out. The 76ers had 10 points off the bench, and 8 of those came from one person. I hate to be the one to say this, but it's just really hard to win like this. Something has to change. After losing to the Spurs post-game, Doc Rivers would say that we're not ready yet. Honestly, we're just not. We're not ready to win yet. You can feel that. We got a lot of work to do. He continued saying, it was almost like we played these first 2 games hard, competed, and then felt like, okay, we can win some games. You still gotta go out and earn the game. You can't pick and choose when we're going to show up right now. And that's what we're doing. Now, when I first read this, my first thought was, wait, Doc, isn't it your job to get the team ready? And well, since it is, what's going to change? Because some of the problems that have seemingly plagued this team over the past few years still plague this team. According to Doc Rivers, PJ Tucker was so frustrated after the loss that he was yelling in the locker room how nobody's going to give the 76ers a win and how they have to earn it. If you ask me, this is good news for 76er fans. At least there is some fight in that locker room. As is the case with most things, it's not about how you start, it's more so about how you finish. It's more so about how resilient that you're willing to be. Guys, to be honest with you, the Doc Rivers hire always confused me. Imagine seeing what happened in the bubble and thinking, hey, I want that, but in Philadelphia. With Doc, he's had his moments, but it's really hard to look past the number of underachieving teams that he's had in his career. And in my opinion, the Philadelphia 76ers are one of them. Guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think of everything. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload.